Hello! We're back!
Hello, everyone. And we have recruited Half Slashed to join us for this commentary.
Hello, hello. Been a while since I've
Amazing.
been on a stream here, so.
The first, but probably not the last time he shows up on a Vocaloid appreciation live thing. Words are hard today. So we've recruited him. Both me and Half Slashed are pretty much going into this blind. Obviously, Nafi was a judge for the contest, so she's seen every map, but not necessarily like their placements. So this will be a bit new for everyone. I've only seen like 2 of the maps. Hafi has seen none of them. So this will be fun. This will be fun to see what we're gonna get ourselves into. We're only looking at the top 5 maps. There's obviously more that you guys can look at when the results are published here at the end of the stream.
Yep.
So yeah.
And just to answer the question in the chat, White is the main organizer, so he did not serve as a judge.
Correct.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys are excited. I sure am. So, spoilers, I did mention earlier, there will be more Cuckoo Bird, and more Cuckoo Bird there will be.
Oh my god, Celery's in the chat. What the heck? That's crazy.
He's got to see the results. Alrighty, so we will be starting off with number 5 here. So let me get that volume turned on for y'all.
Alright, so this one here is Nijika Ichiji's. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but it's his map. I think he used to go by Potato Dew?
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah. So, pretty cool. I haven't seen the map, so it's hard to commentate without having seen it, actually. So let's kind of see what we're looking at. Yeah.
Yeah, generally, so I'm looking at this, it does seem a lot like what I remember Potato Dew. Potato Dew made quite a few maps in Corsace back in the day as that name, and since the rebrand, I don't know what he's been doing, so. But yeah, it's not really it's not the most generic. He uses a lot more like flow-based patterning, which we see a lot in this map for circles. So less of those like snappy jumps that everyone's used to.
Where's the background? There's no background. Some people just don't want backgrounds. This map had a really impressive focus on the percussion in the song, and I think they executed that pretty well to make it pretty fun. There's also a lot of really interesting standout sections. So like this one was very just kind of flowing with it previously, and now you have like this very strict grid structure, kind of a straight slider idea, but it still has a lot of similar movement and like a lot of variation in the slider velocity that's not done just to be extreme, but just to be really, really nice to play.
And I think it does a great job of like making a lot of these it's like specific like unique sounds and instrumentals have like unique and standout movement identities and like specific feelings, and it doesn't seem to hold back on exaggerating a lot of that contrast. Like in that calm section, those jumps were like very dramatic and compared to the very slow spacing or the very low slider velocity, sorry. And like this section here, a lot of the stacks that really contrast quite nicely with the big movement of the previous sections. So that's something I really definitely like to see. I will note that this was actually Natsume Rin's and Shiny Pika's favorite maps. Well, Shiny Pika and Natsume Rin both had 2 maps that were equally scored. So they had 2 favorites, but this was one of them for both of those mappers, or both those judges, rather. So very cool.
Yeah, I think he does a pretty good job of using like the shape contrast idea, and then just also having movement follow the planes that are established there. So what I mean by that is he's got like those curvy sliders, and then he has the player play circles, and then contrast that with all this linear stuff where it's mostly players playing in straight lines and diagonals and such, which I find is kind of nice. It's like a basic idea, but it's one that gets misused often. Here it's not misused, so it's nice.
So this is the first of the two devolution maps that you will see in the top 5. Unfortunately, it is not obviously it's number 5, so it's not the highest scoring one, but it is very close.
Yeah. Oh, and looks he went horizontal here. That's cool. So it is definitely a good execution of the concept. Something I wanted to mention also with the comm section before, I liked how it just he had an opportunity to make like a really unplayable idea with the like 1/4 sliders, and then he just didn't do that. Instead of like just reversing all over the place and making it ambiguous, he just kind of like everything just stood in one spot, and then he reversed it like once in a readable way, which is nice. So
yeah, he's done a very good job of like keeping ideas fresh while also keeping them like consistent to their identities, and like having that sense of progression in a map that's sometimes very difficult to do without making things like random. A lot of focus on the highlighted vocals in the music, so that's always cool too.
So, again, congratulations to Nichika Ichiji. I hope I said your name correctly, also known as Potato Dew.
Way better than what I did.
I just called him Potato Dew. I'm just like, this anime girl stuff, I've seen enough Osu. Like, I'm not calling you that unless you didn't have anything else.
So with that being said, give me a second here. We're going to check out our number 4 entry. And that is going to be our first map of Devolution, actually.
Oh, that wasn't Devolution? Oops.
That was Cuckoo Bird. So let's check it out.
Oh, it's 4 and 3.
Banger background.
Alright. So, this is Celery's map. Celery got number 4, revived from retirement just to make a cool map, and then back to retirement, unfortunately.
Okay, I don't know how you got Celery to participate. Like, what did you do behind the scenes?
I have no idea. Celery just messaged me out of the blue and was like, "You're not judging, right?"
That's actually wild. Alright, well, stylistically, this is, like, bonkers for a Celery map because all of the, like, the rigid, like, straight slider, anchored slider aesthetic. Like, that's not what I associate with Celery at all. Like, holy
Definitely
shit.
not. Yeah, it's definitely unusual for Celery to have, like, a map like this kind of, like, structured in its concepts. Doesn't make it bad by any means, though. It's certainly cool. And, like, each section and each rhythm has a very core concept, and Celery's always been really great at like keeping that so consistent throughout maps while also having these concepts and ideas be like fairly flexible. Like you'll see that like a lot of these like vocals have a lot of these accentuated slowdowns and accelerated SVs, so it's a great contrast with the vocals while also being able to map the instrumentals really well.
Yeah, I think it's just like a generally good high energy map. Also somewhat unusual for Celery because I just don't associate Celery with that. Like this is a new man right here.
Cool.
Like holy shit.
I would have never guessed, and it was so cool because like just playing through it, it's just like this is a really, really cool map, and I love how he not only used a lot of flexible slider velocity, but it's very tricky because, you know, he makes a lot of sliders look the same with the completely opposite leg. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's very intentional, and I think Celery makes, like, every map fun to play, and that's, like, not something that is, like, typically seen as, like, so important in, like, a mapping contest, is, like, because in a mapping contest, you're mapping for the mappers, right? But Celery does that while also making a map really fun and engaging to play. And that's something that I've always really appreciated.
Well, we're 2 for 2 so far in that sense. Like both of these maps have been like I'd say focused on a play experience outside of just the design, which I find nice.
Definitely, and I think it's like part of the fact that we have our judging cast is very diverse, but I think largely sort of player oriented. We don't really have like the exclusive mapper-oriented judges necessarily, so there's a really great balance of, playability in terms of, things being fun and representative of the song and how it plays, but also having unique mapping concepts.
Okay, on that note, how did you guys find Natsume Rin? Like, what?
I don't know how White does it.
Yeah, I can't spread my secrets, man.
Oh, okay, fine. Fair enough. But I'm just that's just wild to me. Like everyone else, I'm like, all right, fine, like findable people, but what?
Yeah, I thought getting Tutu Haha last contest was crazy, because like that timing was really perfect, where like Tutu came back just out of nowhere, and I'm like, hey, and they're like, all right, sure, I'll do this. Getting Natsu was a little bit harder. Or Natsume Rin, sorry. It's kind of difficult because I want to say Natsu, but there's a different mapper named Natsu.
Yes, also on the judging panel. Good job.
Yes. No, Natsu was a returning judge for the last contest, so definitely different perspectives. Like, that's the great thing about having all these different judges, that they're all fairly well known for Vocaloid. Maybe not so much Natsu, kind of more of like the K-pop, but has also dabbled quite a bit in Vocaloid. But we have such a diverse cast of judges that it's you never really know what you're going to end up with at the end of the scoring.
So, as mentioned in the chat, Celery H better rank this map, please. Mr. President.
I will say, Celery, you have to wait until I'm back into the BN so I can do it, because I've nominated your last 2 maps. I gotta go 3 for 3. So you might have to wait a couple months. Just say.
As if getting the GDs won't take that long already.
I'm also, everyone has to like download the map and see what Celery puts for the metadata, because Celery always puts like these amazing like tidbits of metadata, like naming their background files and things like that. It's always so funny. Oh man, I talked about it in the last Badcast. Great time.
Alrighty, and with that being said, we're going to check out number 3, which is our second devolution map today. One second here.
Alright, and this is the return of Majiro McQueen, and every time I see McQueen I think of Lightning McQueen, but that's unrelated. He actually, or they were actually the winner of our last contest, Vocaloid Mapping Contest 1, so returning in force with another high placement in the top 3. And you could definitely see similar ideas in terms of like the structure, because we noticed in the last one that it was in the previous Vocaloid Mapping Contest entry, it was fairly structured in a similar way. But you can definitely see a lot of that. But it's just a very great map in terms of how it plays. It's fun, it's engaging, without being like over the top or egregious.
Okay, I love the use of these linear jumps that are just going on. I also think like his SV choice it's one of those things where usually I see high SV and I'm like cringing, but because you're still playing these sliders, it's kind of nice. Also, I had to look this mapper up. He has no maps. Like, what? What is this? What?
Yes.
He is
like,
mysterious.
he came out of nowhere in the first one, and still is kind of unknown. I don't know. In particular, this is actually, this is... Where is it? This is Mafu Mafu's and Shani Pika's favorite map. This is the other Shani Pika favorite map, but this is Mafu Mafu's favorite. Mafu Mafu just really likes this mapper. It's kind of crazy.
I see why. There's a lot of appeal here. Also, yeah, you know, there's something special because I like looked at his favorites. He's got one of my maps in favorites. He's got one of Yaspo's maps in favorites. He's got some weird stuff in here. Like, that's cooking.
I did forget to mention that in the Celery map, the Celery map had the highest creativity score and the second highest hit sounding score. So that's cool. In this map, Majiro and Celery actually had the same weighted score, or sorry, the same standardized or non-weighted score. Words are hard today. But like raw score was the same, but Majiro won out in the weighted score, unfortunately. Or
All right,
fortunately.
hold on. That undermapping went kind of hard. Like he just went and just like, I don't know what snap those sliders were, but that undermapping went pretty hard. Okay, grid streams. I'm a fan. I am a fan. This is bonkers and bonkers in all the right ways.
And speaking of bonkers, this actually did have the highest expertise stat. So the judges definitely thought it was very well mapped.
I mean, it takes some. It takes something from within to be able to just go in with these streams. I will say, like, and just this overmap, the undermapping usage is pretty nice as well. It's just a lot of things people don't usually think of when in their maps, and he just put them in there. Especially on like this type of song, it's hard to make a comment on the map of itself. It's just because it's one of those high energy songs, and then he still manages to put things that are like recognizable and contrast and still fit the high energy nature. Yeah, I'm a fan.
And this map definitely reflects the song really well, and the content matter. They have like 10 instances. Okay, it's a little bit of an exaggeration. They have like 10 instances of these slider arts that are just mapping Rin's head, and that's beautiful. And they managed to actually integrate that into the rest of the map, which is really cool. Because usually when you would see that, it would be kind of forced. Here, it like fits really fun with like the really high-pitched intensity vocals.
Yeah, they did a good job of like having these like little slider art pattern things kind of fit naturally in. Holy cow. The grid snap. Alright, very awesome. Wow. Thanks for the entry, I was good.
Yeah, yeah, wow.
And
especially from somebody that nobody knows about.
Please, become known.
He gets my respect for that one, so.
Alrighty, and next up we'll be checking out our number 2.
Number 2, a very familiar face to a lot of us. This is Yaspo. Yaspo popping off.
So actually, I do know this map because I was witnessing its creation.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so I think you guys are going to notice that this is not... First of all, Yaspo is many things, and I'd say that this map is typically not what you would think of the way that Yaspo map. But he has been undergoing an experiment, looking at the forbidden texts and trying to adopt that mapping style. So,
what is this forbidden text?
You know, it's from a certain cult we all know. And he essentially started to try to do his own spin on that. So you'll see a lot of like design elements from that style, but you're gonna see that it's made by Yaspo still, which is a good thing because then the map is gonna be good. So.
So I will say that this is Natsume Rin's other favorite map, and it is Nafi's favorite map.
I've been pandered
Maybe I should have
to.
let Nafi say that.
When I realized who the mapper was, I feel like I got pandered to. Thanks, Yaspo.
I think that Natsume Rin's comment on this was actually amazing. He said, "Probably from a pro guy," smiley face.
He was right.
Absolutely.
It's quite the comment to be called pro by Natsume Rin of all people, so...
And
yeah, I mean, this is just... I still can't believe I'm looking at a Yaspo map, but yeah, wow. Kind of speechless.
he did an amazing job with this. This map is just really, really, really fun. Everything about this map fits the song so well. The 1-4 is really well executed, and it has a really strong, consistent style the whole time, but there's always something new. There's always something interesting to look forward to and play through. I love this map.
I do think that's like a common sort of trap that Vocaloid mappers, or mappers in general, really, especially when they're talking about like repetitive music, like Iroha Sasaki's, which admittedly does get repetitive somewhat, is that they run into the trap of like doing the same thing constantly and not having ideas that are flexible enough to be consistent, but also give you opportunity for variety. And I think Yaspo does a really great job of finding the right mix of that.
Yeah. I will say that this style is it like just knowing what he was going for. I told him it felt like a cop out that he chose this song because the style he was copying is like traditionally at like what, like in the 180 200 BPM range or whatever. Because this one, the thing with this is it's a style focused on the visuals, and for that, like I feel like density is kind of a core thing you want to exploit, but since the BPM is so low, you don't actually see too much of that density. It's still well made. I'm just like, man, you made your life way easier than it should have been.
That is pretty wonderful, though.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's a cool map. Looks like it's fun to play. For lots of difficulty ranges, lots of players, I'd say, because it's not too hard. So
Yeah, it seems like a great, like sort of. There's like some alt stuff in it. It looks like, but it seems like a great sort of entry into that.
put this in a mapper multi where the mappers actually want to play a map instead of just I don't know.
Look at it.
Instead of failing after 10 seconds and dying.
Yeah. I mean, that's what would happen if I was invited to a multi and actually joined. Like, I would just put on a map that kills everyone but me because, you know. Hey, look, I'm doing what everyone else is doing. It's just, you know.
You practice a skill that nobody else really has.
Yeah.
I feel it's so interesting talking to like you and Uber Zoluk about like mapping and like playing and stuff, because like Uber Zoluk's out here like wide angles are more comfortable than sharp angles because that's like the only maps he plays.
Yeah, you really like that PP change back in the day where wide angles started to become overweighted. Oh man.
Always fun to talk about that stuff. But anyway, great map, Yaspo. You did a great job.
Thank you, Yaspo.
Yep.
Thank you for entering. You've made a banger. I will see it in qualified shortly, right? Right?
Yaspo map in qualified? That's unheard of.
Yaspo spread.
Next up, we're going to be checking out the #1 entry. I hope I load in the right map. That would be really... Yeah, I got this. So this is for the same song. Let's check it out.
Alright, so this map here was made by Nuolong. I think I'm saying that name right. It obviously did very well in the judges' minds. Overall, very high scores across the entire panel. Yeah, just a solid map. I actually sort of know of this mapper because I remember getting a VN request from them. But other than that, like, I remember like it was their first, what is now their first ranked map, I believe. I don't know if it actually got ranked, but it was an early map, and I was like, this guy shows promise, and clearly I was right about that.
All right, first place and only one ranked map. That's actually kind of wild, but all right.
Nuolong, I haven't seen I haven't seen him in forever, and then he comes back, and then he just instantly pops off. That's crazy.
Yeah, I just looked at his first ranked map. He ranked this in 2016 with a Giacomo 73 storyboard. What? Okay.
Yeah.
This doesn't even have like V2 nominations. This has like a Mr. Sergio bubble, a faux like heart. What is going on here?
This contest series always brings out a bunch of really nice surprises in terms of people like changing up their maps, or people that have never mapped Vocaloid before, or people coming back from the deadest. So, Celery H, your retirement's been outdone.
Yeah, All right. Yeah. I don't have much to say on this map so far. It's a map. It's well executed. It's smooth. Looks fun to play. I guess. Like, yeah, just chilling.
I think it like does a really great job of pandering to our specific judging panel with a lot of like fairly older mappers. Like, there's probably no surprise that like Natsume Rin likes this, for example.
All right, the undermapping here is nice. I appreciate it.
Also, I would like to mention that this was like literally just like 4 points off from being my other number one. It was a very close, very, very close for me.
I should probably say this was Natsu's favorite map.
All right.
And it had the best relevance and overall impressions across the entire judging panel.
Yeah, I'd consider this, I'd say, especially on this type of song, pretty safe entry overall. Like, it's one of those things where it's like the fundamentals are there, but it doesn't really take any risks. So it makes sense that this is like well appreciated across the board in that way. But yeah.
I think each section in this map had a really nice and kind of well-established identity, and I appreciate a lot how they emphasized a lot of the vocals throughout the song. It was interesting how they handled the difficulty increase, especially when you can see like the choruses here go pretty crazy compared to some of the things like in the earlier verses of the map. And in my opinion, it was a little more than the song suggested, but everything was introduced really, really well that this you never really notice it.
Cool pattern, that triangle thing there.
I like, yeah, that transition was nice where it just went from like this linear space triple into that triangle. That was cool.
Did a good job of like changing like the direction of rotation. That was pretty cool in like a pretty natural way.
Yeah.
Good contrast.
It's one of those things, it's like, I think the BPM of this is like in the 130s, and it's just, being able to just kind of switch to these like sharp angle, like essentially 260 BPM jumps, like without even having the player notice is kind of nice.
Definitely. Definitely shows their experience and in mapping. The judges commented across the board like it was just a very solid entry, that there was like very few flaws that they found in it and that kind of thing, which is, you know, it explains in large part the overall very high scores.
And it's just really cool to get to see drastically different maps of the same kind of songs, like, do so well alongside each other. So again, congratulations to New Along. Great work on this. Hope to see you around again some more. That was really, really cool.
Most definitely. I will say that if anyone's curious, the most popular song was the Cuckoo Bird song. And the least popular song was Psy, in standard at least, because it got zero people mapped to Psy. You know, and it's really funny about that, because like Taiko was overwhelmed with Psy maps. Actually, no, Shirley overwhelmed Taiko. I don't think Psy was very popular in any of the modes, actually. So, a little bit of an underappreciated map there, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I don't even know what that song sounds like, so I'm just like playing the preview at this point.
For sure. Otherwise, that is all we have for you all today. Thanks for obviously watching. I have to say thanks to all the judges, especially Natsume Rin for being a participant of this. It's great to see the support. And thank you for all the participants who mapped. I gotta shout out Pishy Fat for his overwhelming support for this. Like, this would not be possible without Pishy Fat's help. I know I am a very annoying in terms of bothering him constantly with questions and things I need help with, and he's never given me any kind of you know, crap for it. Iroha Sasaki, amazing to get him as a featured artist. He's the legend, you know, in the Vocaloid scene, so it was wonderful to have him have so much support for the contest. Like, he really, like, the only reason that this would even be happening is because, you know, he expressed his interest. And then Sayuda Design for giving us all the replays. Yeah, I think that's it, and hopefully we will have another contest for you guys in the next, you know, 6 to 12 months. That's kind of what we're aiming for. So yeah, we have some plans, and we'll see if they come and happen.
And make sure to join the Vocaloid Appreciation Team Discord. We will be posting most related Vocaloid events there first and foremost. Let me grab that link. Thank you, Kurois. And thank you everybody for tuning in today. It's been really, really fun getting to go over these maps and like see all the other modes and everything too. So, map Vocaloid and see y'all around.